Hey, welcome back to Devotions from History. On May 10th of 1940, things looked bleak in Britain. It was on this day that Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain resigned from his office. The German army at this point seemed absolutely invincible. They had taken Poland, Norway, Denmark, and the Low Countries. The French army, thought to be the strongest in the world, was collapsing. And many at the highest levels of the British government felt that there was no way that they could win a war against Germany. That included King George VI and the Foreign Secretary, Lord Halifax. It seemed that the only way to survive at this point was to make a peace treaty with Adolph Hitler, concede to him Europe, that Great Britain would not get involved in that war if only Hitler would agree to leave Britain alone. But now that Chamberlain has resigned, who is going to be the one to make this controversial peace treaty with Adolf Hitler? Well, there was one man that most did not want as their new prime minister, and that man was Winston Churchill. But Lord Halifax, the Foreign Secretary, was a shrewd politician. He knew that if he could convince Churchill to take the position of prime minister, that Churchill would be forced to make the peace with Hitler because there really were no other options, and that would be such an unpopular move that Churchill would be forced to step down, opening up the way for Lord Halifax to step in and be able to blame his predecessor for the treaty. Well, Churchill accepted the challenge. And by the time it came to June 10th, it looked so bleak 1 month later that it was expected, because the morale was so low among the army, among the government, and among the British people. It was expected that Churchill would stand and give his speech to Parliament saying that he had negotiated peace with Hitler and they would concede Europe to Germany. Well, Winston Churchill stood on that day before the British people in Parliament and he surprised them with these words: "We shall fight. We shall fight on to the end. We shall fight in France. We will fight with growing confidence and growing strength in the air. We will defend our island, whatever the cost. We shall fight on the beaches. We shall fight on the landing grounds. We shall fight in the fields and in the streets. We will never surrender." That speech immeasurably changed the mood and the morale of Great Britain. Churchill later said that he felt it was his role as the prime minister to give the roar to the British lion, and that he did. Now, how about you? Does your lion need a little roar today? Maybe you're at a point where you think there is no other options but to sign a peace treaty with something that you cannot even consider doing, and you're wondering if you should surrender. Let me tell you something. We've got to learn to be the kind of people who don't give up just because things look bleak. Never surrender. Always keep moving forward. Put a little roar to your lion today, because you never know. Just like Winston Churchill said later about the Battle of Britain, this very well could be your finest hour, but you'll never know if you give up. So go out and get some roar in your lion today and make some history. I'll see you tomorrow on Devotions from History.